Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sandy and this is Topic Beauty. So today I thought we would talk about the basics for a flawless foundation. Somebody who had watched one of my other videos had asked me, she said, I'm not really into makeup so much, but I wish in your video you were talking about your foundation as possibly being too light, but you could make it work. Tell me how. But you made it work, but you didn't tell me how. So that prompted me to put this together. I've got notes because I'm going to refer back and forth because I figured we'd go over, we'll do another tutorial where we're putting it on, but I just want to give you an idea on how to purchase these things for yourself. So we're going to go over primer. We're going to go over primers, foundation, concealer, powders. That's a lot. I know it's 4 items, but it's a lot. One thing I feel like I have to say, even though most people know you need to have clean skin. The most important foundation you can have before you apply your makeup is clean, moisturized skin. Every time I think about moisturizing, and I think of it every single time, almost every single time I wash my face and do my skincare. Moisturize, moisturize, moisturize. Girl, I cannot stress this enough. I stole that from Patrick Swayze. He says it in the movie To Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar. He says that to John Leguizamo's character. They're drag queens. If you know me, you know I love the drag queens, so I watched a movie about drag queens. It's not really about drag queens, but it's about drag queens. Anyway, watch it. It's old. I think it was made in like the late 80s, early 90s. I'm totally way off probably, but it's a cute movie. It's cheesy, but it's cute. So speaking of skincare, maybe we can do a little basic kind of skincare routine, day, night routines. I'm not the best at it, but I do kind of, I don't have the biggest knowledge of it, but I do kind of try to pay attention to what I need for my skin and to make my skin the best that it can possibly look. I'm not young, and I do take care of my skin, and I just find it fun too, so there's that. All right, so primers. Primers are great for giving your skin or your makeup a sticky-ish kind of base for your makeup. There's different types. There can be ones that fill in your pores. They're decrease shine, like if you're greasy around your T-zone. You have oily skin, like you tend to get oily around here, anywhere you get oily. There's primers that help decrease that. And they can somewhat reduce texture. So one kind of tip I can give you, there's silicone-based and water-based primers. There's also oil-based primers too, but I don't really mess with those too much. I feel like they're counterintuitive. I've never used one, but I feel like in my brain they're counterintuitive because oil breaks down makeup. So why would I prime my foundation with oil? I don't know. Maybe I should try it before I cut it down, but I don't want to. I don't spend an hour doing my makeup so I can ruin it with my fucking primer. Okay. I'm going to try to watch my mouth. But y'all know me. So when using a primer, consider whether it's water-based or silicone-based. You kind of want to, just like you're reading your food labels at the grocery store, when you look at your ingredient list, is your first ingredient water, second ingredient water, then that's a water-based primer. If your primer is silicone-based, your kind of buzzwords that you're going to search for at the top of the list are going to be words that end in cone, methicone, siloxone, and so silicone-based primers have a smoother, more kind of velvety feel. They're great for smoothing out pores, fine lines, rough, kind of uneven skin, a little bit of texture. So silicone-based primers are also really great for oily skin. I'm not oily, and I don't generally get oily even in the summertime, but I have pores right here and definitely on my nose. So I'll oftentimes use a silicone-based primer on my nose and then use my regular water-based primer or whatever primer I'm using. The primer that I'm currently obsessed with is Milk Hydro Grip. I really like that, and I only bought the small one, and it's like a quarter of the way gone, and I am gonna just have to buy the full size. Anyway, water-based primers are kind of slippery. They're I was gonna say they're slippery. They're not. They're more creamy. All right. In water-based primers, you will still find silicone. Those buzzwords that you're going to look for are cone, methicone, siloxone. Those are going to be in that list, but way down the bottom. And just like food labels, the first couple ingredients are the higher quantity, and then the things at the lower end of the list are in less quantity. Makes sense. Water-based primers just essentially means oil-free. If you have dry, sensitive skin, a water-based primer can kind of help plump up, kind of feed that thirsty skin. After priming, we want to consider foundation. So this is hard. Helpful kind of hints that you want to avoid mixing a water-based foundation with a silicone-based primer. Silicone-based primers will have some oil in them, and they can kind of break apart your foundation. Are we stressed yet? Probably. Wait till we get into foundation. Foundation is so hard and so confusing, and people who have been doing their own makeup for years and years and years still have a hard time finding a foundation that matches their skin. And I think part of the reason is because your foundation number, or fair, light, medium, dark, is not the same from brand to brand. We're not going to get into the brands that don't cater to people who are very dark or who are very light. The brands that only the people with natural or neutral kind of skin tones, not people with cooler, darker, whatever. I'm not going to get into all that because that's way over the concept of this video for today. So foundation is skin toned. It's skin colored liquid, powder, creams, comes in sticks. It serves as a base, a foundation for the rest of your makeup. It's what you're going to build on. So you want that to be nice and strong, kind of. So it can be applied with your fingers, a brush, or a sponge, a nice, damp, wet, bouncy sponge. If you've seen my videos, I most often apply my foundation with a brush. There's some foundations that I have that are a little bit more liquidy than others, and those need to be kind of patted on with a sponge to smooth out any, you can see sometimes kind of brush strokes with the thinner foundations, or even some other thicker ones that don't blend well with a brush. I don't generally just go in with the sponge. I feel like it takes me forever to do it, but you do what works for you. Play with the sponge, do your fingers, and then kind of touch up in the areas that you want with a sponge, or use a brush. Next thing to consider with your foundation is coverage. There's sheer, there's medium to medium coverage, full coverage. Sheer obviously means is kind of almost looking almost like you have just like a tinted moisturizer on. That's the way I think of it. Medium coverage foundation is kind of what I have on today. The foundation that I'm having on today is a medium to full coverage. It can be built up to a full coverage. Full coverage is very thick, kind of cakey. I think most stick foundations, there are many liquid or creamier foundations that are full, medium to full coverage. There's next your finish to consider. Do you like your makeup to look sort of matte, really kind of flat and dry looking, satin or natural? Satin and natural kind of intertwine with each other. Or do you like it to be dewy, sort of like a little, almost like you're just a tiny bit sweaty? There's so many different brands, so many different foundation types. Some brands, like I said, have a large range for various skin tones. It's so hard to know where to start with foundation. But the things that I think of the things that I was kind of taught was to consider your skin tone first. Are you fair? Are you super fair? Are you light? Are you medium? Are you medium dark? Are you very dark? Then you'll want to start there. Next, you want to consider like your undertone of your skin. Is the base tone of your skin kind of yellow gold? If so, then you have warm undertones. And I try to remember as yellow is the sun is warm. So if I'm yellow or golden, then I have warm undertones. If I have kind of pinky blue undertones, then I'm kind of cool. My skin will probably look better with cool tones on it. If you're a mix of warm and cool, then you would be considered a natural or a neutral undertone. Okay, simply put, I was taught to look at your veins, and of course the light is going to blind them so that you can't really see them. Anyway, look at the veins on your wrist. Oh, we can see them. Your veins on your wrist. If your veins look blue, then you have a pink, cool undertone. If your veins look green, which I don't know, sometimes mine look blue to me, sometimes they look green. So I think I'm a mixed undertone. I'm a neutral, natural undertone. I feel like my skin's very easy to match foundation to. So if they look green, you have that yellow undertone, that warm undertone. What coverage are you looking for? You're looking for that full coverage. You're looking for that medium coverage. You're looking for that sheer coverage. Do you want your finish to look matte? Matte gives you that smooth, I kind of touched on it a minute ago, but it gives you that smoother sort of, almost like you were airbrushed. Satin or natural, it's not matte, it's not shiny, it's kind of in the middle, it's natural. It almost looks like, is he wearing makeup? Does she have something on? Dewy. It gives you that glowy finish, that glowy skin. I think it's referred to as a radiant, youthful glow. So if you're gonna try a foundation, it's hard, right? It's even harder right now, and it needed to be harder, of course. With COVID, you can't go into like your department stores or Ulta or Sephora and try on foundations like you used to be able to put them on the back of your hand or your wrist. I suggest not doing that. I'm going to tell you how I would do it in a second. We can't do that right now. And I don't even believe they're giving you, like, you could go into Sephora and ask for a sample of a couple of different foundations, and they would give you this sort of little tub, almost like this size, with some squirts of foundation so you can take it and try it, because you really want to see it in natural sunlight. You don't want to see it under the stupid fluorescent lights in the store. Those lights are ugly, and they don't show you exactly what you're looking at. Like, you look distorted. Everything looks different. So what you want to do is look at the shades. Pick your shades based on whether you're warm, cool, or natural. Pick the shade, a range of shades that you think are fitting to your skin tone, your skin color. Pick a couple shades that you think are going to match your skin, and then this is what I was taught, take those shades and just take a swipe from your cheek all the way down your neck, because the point of your foundation is to match your neck. If you're wearing a foundation that's way too dark or way too light or just an entirely the wrong color, you're going to look like you're wearing a mask. I know a couple of people who wear foundation that's very orange for their skin. And that's how, like, you can literally see the line that she paints, and it doesn't bother her. She likes that. This is one of my cousins. She doesn't care that it literally looks like she's got a mask on her face. She doesn't care. She's always worn the same foundation since she discovered that particular foundation. She loves it. She likes it. She likes the way her makeup looks on that foundation. But if you're looking for your makeup to not look like a mask, to look like it's actually your skin, match it. So take that swipe from here to here. Use 3-4 different shades of whatever foundations you've decided that you want to try. Look at those in the mirror. Which one seems to almost disappear into your skin? Which one? Go outside in the sunlight. Look at it. That's your truest test. I can't tell you what foundation to choose as far as finish goes, because that's it depends on what you like. Do you like that dewy, kind of radiant, youthful glow? Do you like that airbrushed, soft matte finish? Do you like the natural, where it's not flat, it's not that airbrush, it's not the dewiness, it's the in-between? You have to decide what you like, what looks good on you, what makes you happy. Okay, concealers. I don't always use concealers because I don't feel like they're really required in a makeup routine. I watch a lot of YouTube videos and I see some people use a ton of concealer and then they set it with a ton of powder. I have normal to somewhat dry skin, and sometimes conditions make my skin a little drier. I do use concealer, but not all the time. I don't use it every day, and I never use a ton of it. I do, however, use a concealer as a yellowy based one as a color corrector because I have some kind of red area spots that I like to cover if I really want my makeup to look super flawless. I'm okay with the imperfections in my skin. I am not going to put 50 pounds of makeup on so that I look like I have perfect skin, but only through a camera lens. And I'm not, my makeup is everyday makeup. My makeup is the makeup that I'm going to wear out. That may not translate perfectly on a camera because you can't see every single eyeshadow color, but you can definitely tell that I have makeup on. And we're not walking around in the world with filters, and nobody's touching up our photos for us before they put them on Facebook. I was going to say in magazines, but our pictures aren't going into magazines. Okay. Okay, having said that, when I do my videos, when I do start posting any of my makeup looks onto Instagram, I do not plan on doing any touching up. First of all, I don't know how, so I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to spend my time learning it either. I'm not going to use filters to dupe people into thinking I have perfect skin or perfect makeup technique. I watched a video of a person trying to sell her new color correctors and concealers and blah, blah, blah. And she started her introduction with makeup on, claiming she had no makeup on. And clearly there was a filter. And then she applied a shit ton of her product to make her skin look even more perfect. I don't believe for a second that it was the product that made her skin look perfect. I 100% believe that it was the filter on her camera that was making her skin look flawless. And that just annoys me. Concealers. I totally lost my train of thought. I went off on a rant. Concealers. I like to use them to hide imperfections. If you have a zit and it's like blowing up in your face red, then yeah, put a little concealer on it, tap it. We'll get into how to use those. I have a couple of little red spots that I don't particularly like them. I think they're very obvious, so I usually color correct those. I'll put a little yellow concealer on those. But the places that you want to put your concealer are kind of under your eye to make your eye look more awake. Kind of right here if you want to kind of make this little area of your forehead brighter, if you're contouring or bronzing to kind of shrink down your forehead or to give your face a different sort of almost shape. I'm getting off track. Concealers, you do not need a ton. Some, a dab here and a dab on the outside, maybe around your nose or around the corners of your mouth if you have a little bit of redness or something. but to use like a mountain of it under your eyes and then set it with a ton of powder is just going to make everybody has lines under their eyes. Our eyes are movable pieces to our face. There's a little bit of lines, and when we smile, when we laugh, when whatever, those lines get deeper. And if you have a ton of foundation, concealer on there, in powder, it's gonna look even more magnified. Those little fine lines are gonna look like deeper lines. And honey, we ain't trying to look any older than we are. We just trying to keep it real. Powders, setting powder, finishing powder. I feel like there's a difference between some brands when they sell a setting powder, when they sell a finishing powder. To me, I use them interchangeably unless like a finishing powder that I have has a little bit of a shimmeriness to it. Powders are pressed or loose. The pressed are obviously like the little pancake, and the loose is a powder. Powders are often used to set your foundation to help it kind of dry down and stay in place. I know people who do not set their foundation and their makeup is fine. I set my foundation with very little powder because I touch my face constantly. And I feel like once I set my foundation, applying more products, like my highlighter, my bronzer, my cheek blush, my highlighter, I feel like it doesn't disrupt my foundation when I set it with a finishing or setting powder. There's a million setting powders. There's some that are super cheap, and there's some that are freaking outrageously expensive. Just buy what you like. So a couple of things to think about when you are choosing your, what do you call it, your setting powder, your finishing powder, is flashback. You know, when they take a picture and you have that kind of white, chalky, ghosty glow. That's not very pretty. Your makeup looks beautiful, but then when somebody takes a picture, you're like, what the hell happened to her face? What is on her face? What happened to the film? That's called flashback, that chalky, powdery look. The ingredients that will give you flashback are silica, mica, what's it called? Titanium dioxide and zinc oxide. Titanium dioxide and zinc oxide are in products with SPF, like your skincare. If you use a moisturizer that has an SPF in it, it could potentially cause flashback. I used to use a moisturizer that had this 35 SPF in it. I don't use it anymore because I can't even remember the name of it. It was a long, long time ago. I noticed every picture that was taken me, I went, why do I look like that? And that's how I learned about it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, my brain is about to explode because I feel like this is a lot of information. So take a look at your skin tone. Pick your foundation based on that, and then consider your undertones. Get your products together, pick them out, and then in a video or two, after a couple of tutorials, I guess we'll learn how to use those together. Anyway, I hoped you liked my video today. I know it was long. A lot of talking, not much no demonstration actually, but we will get into the demonstration part. I just wanted to address the question that I was asked regarding why are you using your foundation. or why are you using that foundation if you're saying it's probably too light for you, but then you're saying, oh, I can make it work and blah, blah, blah. So I hope that addresses your question, my girl. Okay, don't forget to like, subscribe, leave your comments down below. Hit me up with your questions. I will do my very best to answer them. And if I don't have the answer immediately, I will find it and I will figure out how to help you with whatever situation your makeup situation that you're getting into. So stay tuned for more tutorial videos. We're going to do some more get readies with me. I find those fun. I find them a little bit on the challenging side because talking and doing my makeup at the same time is a little weird because I've been doing my makeup for years and I never talk to anybody while I'm doing it. Well, I'll talk to my husband while he's sitting there making fun of me, but that's different. Thank you for spending time with me. Bye.